So welcome everybody, welcome.
Yo.
This is our podcast, 1990 Till. That is 199 TILL. I am your host, Ariel. You guys want to introduce yourselves?
Come on, Tariq.
What's Gucci's Anthony,
AKA
Annie, Tone.
Young Tony on the
Okay. He was supposed to say phone bone tone. But we also have here with us a good friend, Sage. You want to introduce yourself?
What's up, Sage, the racer?
Okay. All right, and we just want to bring y'all back to the winter of 1990. It's cold as fuck outside.
Okay, nostalgia.
But yeah, thank you for tuning in. Let's
Today-
go ahead.
we gonna talk to y'all about a little bit current events. You know, things going on.
Wait,
No, not yet.
I'm
I'm
moving.
moving.
Shout-outs first.
I'm moving too fast.
A little.
Okay.
But since it's our first podcast together, I'm gonna pass it to Brother Jamal to tell us about what we're trying to do here. Explain our yes.
Well, let's come on with a K.
I said Jay.
Yeah.
My bad. Come on.
That's quite all right.
You're fired.
That's quite all right.
My bad.
You're fired.
For those who's tuning in, I watched everyone for the first time. We're 1990 Till, and we're really just trying to capture that essence of like the time era that kind of birthed us.
Yes.
We're like real people from
The 90s, I guess you would say.
from the 90s, and we don't really identify with that pink hair and kind of like that. The real essence of
Yes.
1990s and everything. Taking that old school stuff and bring it to the new school. So
That's it. So let's do a couple shout outs before we get to current events. Shout out Brian of Arts and Rhymes Broadcasting Network.
Shout out Brian. That's our guy.
Yes, that's where we are broadcasting from. You can catch us live right now. Well, not now by the time y'all get this, but we're on the Arts and Rhymes app. We'll also be on SoundCloud. Also, quick shout out. I don't know if y'all heard about this young Queen Julia Nepper.
I heard a little thing or two. I read about it.
She basically started community college at the age of 12. Got her associates by 14. A bachelor's at 16, and she actually graduated last month with a PhD from the University of Wisconsin, and she is 23.
I wasn't doing any of that when I was 12.
I was just learning how to double dutch at 12. So
I don't even remember. Like I was playing outside basketball, learning things. Shout out to her.
She's younger than everybody in here, and can probably conduct all of our lives. So shit. But so shout out to her. Yeah, we can just jump right into it. So
Black excellence.
Yes. All right. So Essence Magazine is 100% black owned now. It's black owned again. It hasn't been that way.
See, listen.
Why? I didn't finish the headline. Why don't you believe it?
Well, go ahead.
No. Okay. So basically, they were recently purchased by. I know I'm butchering his name. I'm sorry. Richelieu Dennis. He's basically the founder of Shea Moisture, and he just bought it, I believe, in November. And so it's completely black owned. He's a black man. The executive team at Essence is all women, all black. And so they're all getting stakes. They're all getting equal equity stakes.
That's nice. That's nice of him to do.
On paper, man, but a lot of times with like companies like Essence, Essence doesn't really they have like black fronts. A lot of times they may front like they have a black owner or owner that is a black person. Like they have their skin folk, not kinfolk.
Right.
So a lot of times Essence has a lot of this. As a black man, a lot of the articles are really like attacking black men, or like really kind of like push up like anti-black sentiments. Like the articles be like how to find you a good white man.
I've never read that in Essence.
What are you talking about?
Ever.
It's kind of, I guess it's kind of like KFC or
Oh no, Popeyes. Yeah, they kill
Popeyes
me. They kill me
with
that
all
lately.
of the people, the Colonel, and they want you to think that there's a black
well, no,
people.
the Colonel's
in it.
definitely white, but the Popeyes lady Popeyes has been white owned for like ever.
Yeah.
So
I'm a Google.
You never know though. Like I don't want to talk too much bad stuff into it. You feel me? But sometimes like companies like Essence, they kind of have like a black front, and then like they just doing a lot of things that are like not really black or not really on the with that kind of like sentiment. But yeah, I don't know. That's just
So just make sure if you supporting because they're black, make sure you get all of the facts.
I believe it. Like I said.
y'all read Essence though?
I myself don't.
Look, I read the stream that comes up on Snapchat. Like they have the little stories. I don't purchase magazines. I mean it's 2018.
But it's nice to see black people thrive.
It's good.
Apparently,
Right.
it's apparent.
Hopefully they be on point. This time around, they have some people that are.
Well, I read in the article as well. It was basically saying like the guy that bought it, he basically did it because he wanted to give black women back their voice for their black magazine. Because before I think it was owned by Time, like the same people that do Time magazines. Yes. So I believe it. And like I said, granted, Shea Moisture, I had a little problem with their products, but for a minute they was holding out the black.
What was the problem? What was the
they
problem?
ended up like changing their recipe. They changed their formula for it, like a product. No, it wasn't even that. It was the commercial that they put out that was super problematic a little while ago.
I do remember that. I do remember
white
that.
Girls, like it was a little ridiculous. But and I heard they changed their formula for one of their products that just wasn't really dope. But
I'm trying to bun up your scalp.
yeah, they held it down for a little while. They did, so I believe it. I ain't mad at it.
Give him a chance. All right, yes.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Let's see what they do for 2018. Let's see. Who is NBA YoungBoy?
I think he's a rapper.
I thought that was a basketball player for a second. Like, no, for real. And apparently it stands for Never Broke Again. Like, what song does he sing?
Do we sound outdated?
Probably. Look, we getting old now. But no, like, what song is on the radio? Does anybody know?
I think he's more like for the kids, like an underground kind of thing right now.
I guess.
I don't know if he has any albums.
I guess this past week it came out that his girlfriend was caught sleeping in the lobby so that he could fuck groupies. And basically a hotel employee snapped a picture of her sleeping on the couch of a hotel lobby and where her boyfriend was staying. And she claims that it's not as bad as it seemed, and she slept in the lobby because she wanted to. Social media ain't buying it.
I don't even know how to look at a situation like that. I mean,
you have your girl sleeping on a hotel couch in the lobby, bro.
That situation seems so crazy. I don't know what went on, but
this little girl is 17. Let's throw that out there. She's 17 years old. Where are her parents?
That was advocate.
Here we go.
All right.
What side?
You don't know the relationship. You know what I'm saying? We don't know their dichotomy.
That could have been their agreement.
Here's my thing though. The lobby, bro. The lobby. Did you see the picture?
Listen. Was it a 5-star hotel?
It's a lobby, bro.
You ever been in the lobby of the Ritz or something? It's nice,
bro.
Lobby, though.
You know what I'm saying,
bro.
She comfortable?
Come on, you got a girl. You damn near married. Okay?
I didn't say I would do it. I'm just saying I don't know them. You feel me? Maybe you know what I'm saying. She.
All right, so if you're a rapper, you live in that lifestyle, fine. But why bring your girl out in general? Why not just have her stay home then?
Because he wanted the.
How do you feel about it?
I'm just saying, I'm not sleeping in no goddamn lobby. Let me tell you right now, he come down to that lobby, I would not be there. Excuse me, but then again, at 17, I was doing homework. And then she kind of dragged.
So you can't even compare your life to hers.
Exactly.
Wow.
Broke ass.
Your sister's almost 17. She'll be 17 in a couple years. She's in the lobby of a rapper.
My sister's almost 16.
Okay, so if she ends up dating whatever little underground snot,
we can't have this conversation. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my god. Long story short,
and I can't stop her for doing nothing she want to do. She want to sleep in the lobby. But I'm gonna stop her.
That shit is ridiculous, and yes, I
think
agree.
Where's the self accountability? You feel me?
For who?
You want to be in the lobby? You in the lobby? Like,
that's basically what she said. She was like, I slept in the lobby because I wanted to. Like, it's not even that deep. And I'm like, girl. But apparently, like, he was fucking groupies, and I guess she went on once it started circulating, she went on her Snapchat and was just like, was dragging the hotel employee that got the picture, was like, I'm 17, I don't even live at home with my mama, you probably going to live with your mom. And I'm like, girl, at 17, apparently, you should be home with your...
Apparently, she's lobby living.
I hate you. Anyway. But, the following day, she posted a picture of her, like, in front of a whole bunch of, like, Louis Vuitton bags and shit like that. And she was like, we good.
It was probably in the store, in the lobby.
I mean, like, a lot of our parents probably doing the same thing, but it wasn't no social media to catch them slipping from back in the day.
But again, why have
speak for your parents?
You're
what was his name? Bobby Brown concert or something like that.
Not for nothing though. I don't know if you guys have seen what's the documentary called with Bob Marley, and like his wife was dead, like cleaning up his hotel room, picking up panties and shit. From like
when Bob
Marley.
Yeah, and when she was one of the backup singers. I can't remember what the documentary was, but she would dead come through hotel rooms and like pick up these bitches' panties. Like
his rich is his life. Was life.
Don't have her there. If you're gonna do it, just like in front of my face. That's disrespectful.
Here's the thing. I'm not rich. You know me? But I'm not saying I would. But here's what I'm trying to say. All right, if you're in that lifestyle, you kind of have to like. You don't have to, but like
I feel like you sign up for something.
Yeah,
you know
like
what I mean?
This is what you gonna get. If you with some dude like that, that's that kind of dude. You know what you in for. So like that's what you sign up for. You feel me?
And I think it's the same. Not to compare men and women, but I think it's the same. Like women get money, and you think they don't go out here looking for that guy they was looking for.
Again, why?
What's the lady name? She big. She's big as hell. Monique lost weight though. Her and her husband, she be pimping her husband on the low. She like, listen, I got money. I'm the rich person.
I mean,
we have an open marriage.
But here's my thing. Okay, all right, so, but that could be. But again,
and he's just like Oprah. If Oprah's my wife, you know what I'm saying? It's whatever.
again, why have her there though? Like, all right, fine, that's your
Because she
it's
stayed.
open.
Maybe.
She signed that contract.
I'm not in nobody's goddamn lobby. I'm so sorry. I am so fucking sorry. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm not
sorry. You know
sorry.
our area because you have integrity.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you. But that's still fucking ridiculous. Because even, fuck, I just lost my thought. I was going to bring up another.
bags the next day.
I mean, but then what does that even mean? And then she said, I think it bothers me as well. Like, yeah, as a woman, like, okay, come on. You're not nobody's, like, option or leftovers. But again,
yes,
you do you. But
that's
at the same
exactly
time,
what she is to him.
17. And then I saw another video where I guess he was about to, like, he had beef in Chicago or some shit. Like, because it's like, oh, you just some underground nigga, whatever. And, like, she's like, no, babe, you're not about to fight on camera. He, like, flings her.
I did see that video. I saw it today, actually.
Flings her across the store. And I'm like, yo, where are her parents, bro? She got a big brother, anybody? Like, she's just out here.
So I think the real story is the quote-unquote toxic masculinity that, plagues
Here you go.
generation.
Here you go.
But that's a topic for the next story. You feel me?
Go on, Hotep.
You feel me? Yeah.
I wish I could. I mean, if y'all tuning in, look at his hat. Turn towards the camera. It's not New York Yankees. That's Hotep.
I'm done.
She's bugged out. Moral of the story is,
Ladies, value yourself. Just value yourself. She's a whole child, a whole baby. But either way, on to the next order of business. We have, I don't know if you guys caught CNN's coverage of
I saw it.
that shit in Denver, Colorado for the New Year.
Yeah, he saw it.
Name? Randy K. She covered a celebration from Denver, Colorado. So, Cali must have legalized recreational use of marijuana, like for the whole state. They're celebrating. Basically, you see this poor little white lady. First of all, she's not poor, but fine. You see this little white lady. She's covering it. She's in a room full of Caucasians who are getting high as fuck. They're smoking the air. She puts on a gas mask for 2 seconds. They're passing her blunt. She's passing them back.
Dude,
she lit the gas mask.
That tripped me out. I didn't think they would have that on TV.
And it was on live broadcasted.
It looked like a camera on video.
And literally, she never took a hit or anything on camera, but you could tell by the end of that video, bro, she was high. She obviously caught a contact. But what are your?
That leads us to say, why we not letting all these people out of jail?
That's all.
That's it.
We smoking weed on TV. I mean, why
not? For at least small crimes. Everybody does crimes and stuff. And if you out here selling weed, killing people, you need to be in jail. But
I mean, yeah, or at least everybody in Cali.
If everybody in Cali is out there selling weed too, people die in California all the time.
I mean, but see, I knew this was gonna be a hot topic for you because here you go. How do you feel about the whole? Okay, now marijuana is a new cool thing to do. White people are obviously making money off of it. What's your take?
Well, all right. Here's what I think that's the real story though, for real. Like I said earlier, we have a bunch of people that are mass incarcerated off of the war on drugs. Mm-hmm. You feel me? And I don't know if everyone's aware, but right now we're having a serious epidemic of opioids. People who are not brown. You feel me? Our Caucasian brothers and sisters right now, they kind of fucked up in the game right now off of opioids, right. Meth and all stuff, or the
pills, Percocets.
Those is, of course, people, all of them are all racist, but it's an epidemic in white communities.
Right.
Where the same thing how in the 80s the crack epidemic was crazy, that's how it is, in white areas. So the fact that they focusing on, what's the dude name, the Attorney General? Anyway, they're focusing on weed, even though it's legal. They locking people up who are brown for things like that. It shows you that everything's really a racial bias,
right,
when it comes to people being prosecuted these drugs. At the end of the day, ain't nobody dying from weed. You feel me?
That's true.
What I'm saying? People on TV smoking weed, doing their job, fine.
And weed does far more in the long run, in helping you. Even if you're using it just for recreational use or medical use, it goes further than opiates, because they put you on these drugs and then you get addicted to them. And now it's just now you're doing the crack and whatever else can get you your fix.
It's true, because I remember even when I broke my ankle a couple of years ago, and they gave me Oxycontin, I think is what they gave me.
Yeah, that's the good stuff.
And they were basically they told me the record said take every 4 hours or as needed. And when I started, I was taking it every 6 hours or so. Literally, it was like 2 a day, every 12 hours or so. Got down to every 6. When I got in every 4 hours, I literally gave the pills to mommy yo, I'm taking these every 4 hours, bro. Within the course of literally maybe 2 weeks. And
the problem is they don't take away the pain. They just
it doesn't at all. But I mean, not for nothing.
It makes you numb.
At the time, I was smoking weed, so I was weed is doing the same shit. It still hurts, but I just don't give a fuck about it anymore. I don't.
It's all about patience and what you're willing to do. Weed is natural, so naturally it's gonna take a little longer and stuff.
Now, Sage, I know, because you're a very creative you have like, do you use marijuana or any kind of drugs to like, maybe help you with your creative aspects or something you don't need to like?
I'm super sober.
Yeah.
You can't be
I barely
trusted.
drink. I don't smoke. No pills. Nothing.
None of that.
No.
Did you used to at one point in time?
Kudos.
And you quit or no?
I've smoked a few times in my life, and
But it was never like a habit.
Nah, I've been like I'm 28, and I've probably been drunk like 3 times my whole life.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Sure.
I know. I've never seen you. I know I've seen you, in high school and everything. I've never actually seen. Seen you faded before.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah.
I can't. Look.
Well, that just goes to show that you
Look,
don't
I've been
need all
sober
of that
like 3
stuff
times. No, let me stop.
to be creative.
But what's that drug that they give kids for the ones with like ADHD and shit? Is that Ritalin? Is it Ritalin or Adderall?
No, it's Ritalin.
It's Ritalin.
It's Ritalin.
So I learned in one of my psych classes, Ritalin is like I think like one chemical property away from heroin.
Exactly.
It's like all right, like so
You
like
just open the whole door right here. I'm about to just.
no, here we go. No, but like the best way I can explain is kind of like how H2O is water, like so if H2O is heroin. Like H1O would be Ritalin. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like it's literally just one. If you change
You're
one thing about it,
correct.
it's literally heroin.
So not only that, like there's technically like
Bless
there's no scientific way to diagnose someone for ADHD or ADD.
True.
So they're just giving people, majority black boys, these drugs that are almost the same chemical properties as heroin, like we're talking about. Mm-hmm. And you wonder why a lot of these our young black males aren't performing too well in school.
And I saw what is his name? Umar Johnson. I think Dr. Umar Johnson that says something. Look, he's a little problematic. He's a little problematic sometimes, but I fuck with him. I do.
I used to fuck with him, but honestly, Umar Johnson, he's a whole scam.
I don't agree with everything he says, but some of the shit he says really makes you think. Like he basically said in a sense with a spike of ADHD diagnoses in the black community, black and Latino community, it was also the same year or during that time. During that time, there was also a spike in incarceration for black and Latino fathers and things. Yeah. So I'm like, you kind of gotta. I mean, facts are facts. I'm just like, well, he is problematic though.
What they say about, I'm gonna give you 2 things right there. They say about that is like they say, the reason why crime went down during the times was because we was heavy in New York with these crimes. We was prosecuting people for drugs and everything, and crime went down. No, the reason why crime went down back in the day, like around was the late 80s, I believe, or early 80s rather, was because they stopped using lead and everything.
Wow.
And gas.
I didn't even know that.
And lead and paint.
That's
and
crazy.
The whole country went down, crime went down, like around the whole country because lead is what's causing people to be fucking crazy.
Right.
In the water and everything.
Speaking of,
like, it's not the drugs.
shout out Flint.
It's the lead.
What's going on? What's going on?
Nah, but Umar is OD, like, see, right now, I don't know if y'all aware, because I'm really into, like, the black consciousness, quote-unquote communities and stuff. Umar Johnson's kind of, like, under the hot seat, because, like, he was supposed to be making a school. I don't know if y'all heard.
Yes, I did hear about that.
He came to my university, told him, like, yeah, donate, da-da-da-da. I'm going to open a school for black kids and black boys.
I saw that.
Because I care about black boys, and he give you mad knowledge about, what's happening. That's true. But where's this? Like he took the bread. Like,
are you serious?
Yeah, like
I know. Wasn't he doing like a moving back to Africa or some shit like that too?
He was on some other tip talking about all the good stuff. It sounds nice on paper, but like
he didn't do anything with it.
Plan.
Wow.
Like we like all right, the school that you're trying to buy, St. Paul's University, their old campus. That one has been purchased like a year or 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
So where's your plan? Like he's getting mad. People like, yo, okay, bro. You want to get a school? Where's your plan? Don't ask me about the plan.
Nigga,
what?
This is the money. Like, you taking the money.
Like $1 million, bro. Where's the money at? And
that's crazy.
It's kind of looking like he's kind of just scamming.
It's funny because I haven't seen him in the news anymore. Well, not even the news, but like I haven't seen him kind of circulated on social media anymore. I guess that's why.
Of like a black consciousness, like a preacher.
Al Sharpton, no.
He's like a conscious whatever. Quote,
what's Mike Tyson's manager?
Yeah, he just selling you both tickets like word. You know what I'm saying? Back to Africa, word. That's cool.
Damn.
Where's the pudding? You feel me? So.
Well, he said, "Where's the pudding?" I like it.
Exactly.
Where's the pudding?
Where's the pudding?
Damn.
OD.
All right. Well. Oh, sorry. Little sidebar. It's again. We said it's cold as fuck. I know you hear my poor brother here, Anthony, is sniffling. I sniffled a couple times too. Yeah. Just bear with us. It's cold as fuck.
If y'all get sick through the speakers, it's because of Anthony.
No, look, literally.
Listen, don't touch nothing outside. Everybody's dirty. I'm telling you, if you ride the subway, you know what I mean. Don't touch things.
Let me see the weather.
Keep your hands in your pockets. Wear gloves.
Today is legitimately right now 11 degrees. It is 11 degrees outside. Y'all seen that meme? It was like, I'm not going outside till the weather's above my age. Not doing it.
It's way too cold outside.
Anyway, next order of business. My grandma used to watch Jeopardy all the time back in the day. I have not watched Jeopardy in a minute, but this did circulate on my timeline and it had me dying. So, this week on Jeopardy, a contestant was given this answer. A song by Coolio from Dangerous Minds goes back in time to become a 1667 John Milton classic, to which this guy, the contestant, responded, Gangsta's Paradise. Bro, I think like they went to commercial break, whatever, came back. They took this guy, like I think it was like $3,200, took the money back because he said Gangster's Paradise instead of Gangstas. Bro.
Well, served him correctly.
I died. Like his face looked, he was just like, you know the white uncomfortable smile? Just that with
No, it's
lips together. He was so butthurt.
I wish y'all could see his face though. He was really like, really?
No, like, and then it's what'd you say? The black dude. The black dude was probably
Black
like,
dude probably looked at him like, studying them books.
dumb funny though. But they basically said because
I probably would have said Gangster's Paradise myself. Like,
Nah, you'd have been
Nah.
like Gangsta's Paradise. You'd say it like
you
you
like how you say it,
I mean,
right?
like, my thing is like I don't purposely. Who purposely says Gangstas? Like
You say
No,
gangsters.
but-
You say it. You say
But
it
his
how you say it.
enunciation was like
He probably said
gangsters. Like
gangsters.
even
No.
even with your dialect and where you're from, you'd be like Gangsta's Paradise.
Yeah,
You're
like-
not gonna be like Gangster's Paradise.
And their reasoning was because he said, like, technically, if you look in Oxford, gangster and gangster are two different words with two different meanings. So I actually looked
That's
it up.
ridiculous, though.
So gangster is a member of a.
Do we?
I haven't.
Exactly.
Gangster is a member of a gang of violent criminals versus gangsta, which says a gang member / a type of rap music featuring aggressive macho lyrics, often in reference to gang violence. So technically, by
So
him
they be
changing
trying
the
to
title of the song,
get black men again.
and I believe if you actually look at the song, look, that was actually their reference. But if you actually look at the song, I'm pretty sure it's Gangsta's Paradise. Like the way they spell it, it's not gangsters.
Facts serves him
It's
correctly.
J-A-N-S-T-A. J-N-G-S-T-A.
Yeah.
So technically, he was wrong with the title at all.
I'm just mad confused, bro. Like I'm just it's the same word, but all right.
That shit was funny to me. But
That's wild.
I left this one for last. 'Cause I know this is gonna be a little hot topic. I'm not really a big. I do like reality shows, but some of them I can't do. But apparently, Love and Hip Hop Miami is supposed to be really, really popping right now. Shout out Trina because I love her. But
Baddest bitch.
yes, there's this girl, Amara La Negra. She seems to be a hot topic right now. She
Hold on, let's
basically
stop right there real quick. I'm
Look at her name.
sorry. Her name again?
Amara La Negra.
I didn't know that shit. Like the La Negra, like black.
Like the black Amara
That's
the Black.
hilarious.
I guess yeah,
Is she
but
joking? Or she dead ass though?
that's her name on Instagram,
Is
and
that
that's
her
what
name,
she.
like her birth name.
I guess no, I think that's her performance name. She's a singer. She's like a singer performer. But
Something of black.
no, basically. But she
That's crazy.
her big thing right now, I guess I don't know. I haven't watched the episode. I'm not gonna lie, but I've seen the clip where her thing is she's Afro Latina and she's very very big on her Africanness as well as her Latina roots. So she basically had she met up with this music producer, Young Hollywood, and he basically was making statements like he wanted her to look a little more Beyonce and a little less Macy Gray. Because like if you see, she's this beautiful Hershey woman with a big old afro, like natural hair. Like I've only seen her with styles like that have afros, things like that. He also, she basically said, he's trying to make the point that he wanted her to look more elegant.
As well?
He's Hispanic, yes.
Like, where's he from? Do you know?
I guess Miami. I don't know what kind of Hispanic.
like,
what kind of.
But his
Latino.
skin is lighter.
He's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
okay. So here's the thing about that, real quick though. Mm-hmm. You like her name is La Negra. Like I know Spanish a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
But you know what you're walking into.
He went to Spain, when he was in school.
I'm a little cultured. You feel
Here we
me?
go.
So like Negra, like black. That's not like black like a person. That's like black like a shirt.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's
like,
true, it's the color. Yeah.
Like people gotta watch like the like your name and what that means because her culture probably is like looking at her like you black like a piece of paper like not like a person. So like that's probably that's probably why he has that kind of like mindset of like you're black, like tone that blackness down. Like it's not really something positive. You feel me?
That's it. But like he basically made a thing. He was like, I want you to look more elegant. And she said something like, so what you're saying is I can't be elegant with the afro? And he literally was just like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, what are your thoughts? Like, since I'm talking,
I'm not
like,
surprised though.
I love her. Like, she is I'm telling you, this girl is beautiful. Like, first of all, she got an African ass body. She got a donkey that came right from the hearts of Ghana. Like, she has a whole donkey on her legs. I'm not playing. Like,
Where's that located?
Ghana?
No, the never mind.
No, where's Willow located?
The heart. I was being facetious.
Shut up.
Never mind.
Anyway, she's beautiful. She has beautiful dark skin, and it's funny because a lot of people think she was doing blackface, and she went as far as posting a video on her Instagram from when she did a pageant as a child. She's a little dark. She's a little black girl. She's a little dark skinned girl, but I do think we don't get that a lot where you have somebody that is actually claiming, you know, that Spanish side and their black side like together as one, and I feel like it's kind of foreign. So what do y'all think?
No, I'm not surprised at all because, like, you gotta look at the history of, like, the Afro-Latino countries. You feel me? Like, basically, we're all the same. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know this stuff till I got, like, older because, like, you know, as kids, you don't understand the cultural significance. You feel me? But, like us as Africans in America and those as Africans, really, in, like, Colombia and different places, you feel me? Like, we're the same, just like a boat stop away.
It's true.
No. Like, come
on, you mad big, bro.
You feel me? So, like... But like the reason why they feel like that is because in their home countries, the people that are of upper class, whatever, they're normally of lighter hue. You feel me? So the same white supremacy power structure exists in those countries, like Cuba and the DR and Puerto Rico. Like it's the same thing because people who got the houses and the land, they light skin, and if you darker, you know. And
I think generally, like lighter skinned people in any race or situation is always looked at as the upper echelon, I guess.
People gotta understand, like, white supremacy is not just America, that's the world. White supremacy is a mindset that is throughout the whole world. You feel me? Like, I'm not surprised though. But she definitely is a beautiful sister though. I'll tell you that.
She's everything.
But about her butt though.
Yeah,
like, I'm not even trying to say like nothing like
y'all.
crazy. But like, I don't know if you know, like, this is the reason why like black people like butts. Like it's like,
here we go.
Like,
Here we go. What's the history? Come on, give me the history of the booty.
Nah, it's called it's called steel pygia.
Steel shit. Steel bullshit. What are you saying?
I'm dead serious. It's like a real medical.
All right, put me on.
Medical, I guess I wouldn't say disorder, but like a medical thing. But like women from Africa, mostly Central Africa, they have like their butts stick out like almost like a 90-degree angle from their spine. And that's like how, like, in the memo's like, yo, the woman with the best butt, like the most protruding butt, means she can have like the most babies and she can bear the healthiest children. So we have that same mindset to this day because that's in our DNA. But
that's some Hotep ass shit.
I've
never heard that in my life. That is some Hotep ass shit, bro. You know, it's genetics.
You feel me? Exactly. You feel me?
Shit, well, I wasn't from that part of Central Africa, obviously, but whatever. Look, whatever. I missed that stuff.
Oh, man.
But shout out to all our Afro Latinos out there. Who is it? I'm gonna say it wrong, so never mind. I'm not gonna say it. But there were a few Afro Latinos before that. They're more so like our parents' generation that were very big.
Latino no love for real.
What is she? She's Trini and Dominican.
She looks like my brother for real. So like she looks like she's my.
What is Cardi like? I think she's Trinidadian and Dominican. I think right.
Something like
that.
Nigga, just saying. But go ahead.
But she is another one that will claim both, and I love that as well. So. But look.
I know you're Caribbean, right? You're from somewhere, something like that.
I'm Jamaican and
Caribbean. Sorry.
Exactly. And your younger brother is like a couple of hues darker than you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But y'all look the same. You feel me?
That's funny because my brother's actually your complexion. My brother's very yellow.
They look the same. I mean, you might have different parents, but y'all look the same. You're the same. Y'all look exactly the same.
What speaking of, I'm about to take a stage over here, quiet in the corner. It's your segment, boo.
Yeah,
it's your turn.
That was perfect.
So today what we said we're gonna call our topics. Let's argue. Is that what we said we're going to call it? I don't think we're really going to argue today, but today's episode is going to be about the hustle.
I don't want to say let's dive in, but let's dive in.
Yeah, whatever.
All right.
Oh, Trey Songz.
Whoa. That was bad. Ooh, that was bad.
That was like a goat dying. That was wild.
Whatever. Let me sing my song. No, but so look, this episode's our topic today. It's about the hustle. It's about people on the come up, people on the rise. We out here trying to do it. We were literally discussing what the topic is going to be.
Let's get a more formal introduction.
Wait, can I get there?
Oh, I didn't know.
I'm sorry. You know what? You do it.
I didn't know if you were. I didn't know where you was going with it. I just wanted to add my 2 cents. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying. When we were talking about the topic, we were like, so who do we know that's really on this shit? That's like literally into their craft, like stopped everything else that the normal people would do, and has been doing it. And yeah, you came up. So
literally the first name that came into my head. Well, you can introduce yourself. Sage, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do? You know, what you're trying to do.
All right, so...
Oh, no.
Okay.
Sage, and I'm working on film production. And basically my overall goal is to not be, like, the greatest writer, director of all time, but to find, like, a comfortable place in the film world and just want to work. Like, I miss working, but I'm never going back to work if it's not film.
Yes.
So.
I mean, that's beautiful.
Why would you say you wouldn't go back to work? You like the freedom of like directing and doing everything on your own?
I love it, but I understand that that's, you know, like a select few is gonna get there, and I'm okay. Like, I love directing, and I'm okay with not, like, I love every part of the structure of film. So I do production assistance, assistant directing, you know, key grip. Like, I'm used to all the roles, but
And he's good, y'all.
yeah. So I quit my corporate job, which was like the greatest paying job.
How long ago did you do that?
I quit in August.
Okay.
And it was
Sorry, how long were you there before you quit?
3 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So you dead ass left like almost a career.
Yeah, it was a career. So I was getting like, you know, like $4,000, $5,000 bonus checks were like $4,000. Like, and my boss would like give me his card from time to time. Like, it was a very rewarding job, but the stress was ridiculous, you know, like, and like every day, like, the cubicle just gets a little smaller and smaller.
So when you say rewarding, did you feel like it was rewarding monetarily, but not to you?
Not me.
You
so it was like,
at the end of the day, right?
yeah, it was like it's either your paycheck or your sanity, and then, you know, you got to go with your sanity sooner or later.
Right.
So
Now let me ask you something. Like, were you working and you were like planning up to leaving, or one day you just was like, I can't do this no more. I'm just gonna.
I'm out of here.
I always knew I wanted to be in film production, but it was like one day I kind of just like broke down on my desk, and then my manager called me, and then we had a conversation, and then I was just like, yo, I can't fit everything I want to do into Saturday and Sunday. Right. And then my job was so stressful. Even when I was on set Saturday and Sunday, I was just be thinking about like, shit, I have to do during the week anyway.
Sorry, did you mention what you did before? What was it that you were doing?
Financial. I was working in finance.
Okay.
So, but it was like ridiculous. Like, I lost my job like $10,000 one time. But then they was like, yo, in the midst of it, like, you've made us like way more than that. So it's just a hiccup to them. I was like working for like old rich Jewish people, so they were good. But it was, you know,
Finance.
Well, finance is
so it was a it was
what
a
company were you working for? I'm trying to apply. Can you give me the link?
It's called Brightstone, and they were a courier business. So like, if you have, you know, like Hertz or any kind of courier business, and we did like your insurance, and like we told you how to like spend your money on, you know, whatever it is that you needed help with, pretty much like that. But it sucked. Like, that shit was horrible, but the pay was amazing. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. So you have any like film degrees or anything you did in school or anything like that, or you self-taught?
Self-taught. So after I quit, so
how'd you get into it?
I got into it because I started writing, and I remember having a conversation with you and Charisma about a short film I wanted to do called The Addict, and I did it, but the script was so good.
I loved. Sorry, real quick, because she's being a little modest. Sage writes short stories and things. This shit, like, here's what's funny, because you were talking to me one day. I'm like, all right, whatever. Send me this dumbass story, whatever. Like, thinking he's talking shit. This shit was good.
Yeah.
No, like, it was. I think it was like 10 pages, like 10.
Yeah,
like,
very
Word
short.
document. And I was like, yo, I need more. Like,
hold up, you're not gonna also fast forward through you rapping, bro, because like,
right? No,
you
like,
to have two mixtapes that was fire for real. All right, go ahead.
I was doing music, and then like I kind of like changed direction musically. I feel like I was growing creatively, but then like a lot of people wasn't liking where I was going, and then I also felt like I didn't know what I was doing either, because I figured it's just like it's just too much I don't know how to express myself creatively in music, but I know how to do it in film and in writing. So like, you know, like Jossie does that shit, and it's amazing.
I agree.
And I don't grasp how you can do that in a 3-minute song.
You know what's funny?
Just create a whole story.
Yeah.
When I was in school, I listened to Jossie a lot, and also you and everything, because you guys remember, like, I kind of like felt like it was like listening to home. And I would listen to that stuff, and I was, you know, in PA and everything. And I kind of felt like I heard that from you. Like, I felt like your music was really good. I enjoyed it. I was like, yo, I feel like he got a lot to say. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's very creative. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I can dig that.
Yeah.
All right.
So like, I have like the amount of respect I have for musicians is crazy, because I don't grasp how they can just do that like in a 3-minute song. Like, the art of music is just beautiful, and it's crazy itself. But
that's why they think. That's why Nas's Illmatic is held so high, because he told like an amazing story on it.
Yeah.
And people are just like,
exactly. But in film, it's just like I don't have any degrees in anything, but I'm self-taught, and after I quit my job, I just went from here to there really fast. So like, before I quit my job, I was just doing my own work. Then I quit. I started studying my favorite directors, documentaries nonstop, and like selling documentaries and content like that in production. And then I started coordinating celebrity interviews for Rob Radar. I was working from time to time with Everyday Struggle, a couple complex segments actually.
Cool,
and then
cool.
I'm still in the process of learning and all that, but it's been like an amazing journey since I quit my job. So
that's what's up, man.
cool,
More
yeah.
power to you, man. Because you kind of were like one of the first people that I knew of from my hometown that were like, yo, let me focus on like creating content.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So that's
yeah,
what's
yeah,
up.
Yeah.
Now I know you said that. Oh, excuse me, real quick, I lost my train of thought.
Stoner.
I was all that damn weeds.
Nah, but real
funny
quick,
cigarettes now.
I know you said that you're not necessarily, earlier you mentioned that you're not necessarily looking for, I guess, like the top spot.
Yeah.
Do you have an aim? Like, do you like kind of what's your next step? Do you have like a goal that you do want to reach that'll make you happy?
Yeah, that's good.
Or is it just the art itself?
So I do want my biggest goal, I would say, is I want to create a world where I can invite people in and people love that world. Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, and like and whatever your favorite movie is. Like, just think about that concept of some guy who thought that up, sat down, wrote it, you know what I mean, put it together, and then you enjoyed it. Like, and then you go back to it constantly, and then you gotta have it. We live, you know, like one of my biggest problems I had growing up is I had no grasp of reality. Like, you know, like I always thought we can do more than what we really could, and I'm always living inside my head. Like, I have like a
Okay,
whole.
what's your sign again?
I'm a Pisces.
Oh, okay.
So like.
You Pisces too, right? Oh shit!
In the background.
I have a whole,
Shout out
you know,
Pisces,
like
me too.
a whole system in my head. Like if something goes wrong here, I kind of revert back to like my friends in my head. I have like a whole imaginary friendship in my head, an imaginary girlfriend. Like if my relationship sucks, whatever, like I'll just go to sleep with my imaginary girlfriend.
Let me see.
With my
It's
imagination.
funny
But
you say that because, you know, I follow you on Twitter and it's kind of like when you tweet, you kind of have that, you kind of give off that vibe. Like you're
It's almost
creating
like a
like
third
a world
person.
when
That
you
is true.
tweet. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah. So it's just like I want to create something where people can come and be like, yo, I fucking love this. Like, and I would rather be here than where I am, like literally. Like, so that's my main goal. But like I said, I understand like the cans and cannots of film, like, and how to get there. But I'm okay with not being Spike Jonze, who is my hands down favorite director. Spike Jonze, Spike Lee.
I'm gonna say, can you name Spike Jonze's films? Because I'm not familiar with them.
Her being John Malkovich.
Oh, okay.
Jackass, which is weird, like
Okay,
total ends of
okay.
the spectrum. But he's fucking amazing though, like the way he sees shit and puts shit together. I love him.
So what's one of your, because I think Ann said, what's one of your short-term goals, right? What's one of your short-term goals, right? Like you
that's
working on
more
a project,
long-term,
like,
so.
Oh, a short term
saying?
goal. Okay, so
What are you working on now? What's going on?
yeah.
So I have two. So I'm gonna do a documentary called Future Flags, and I'm gonna follow a blood around for a day and a crip around for a day, and it's all about
I like it already.
gang banging in 2018. Like, where's the place in it with all this technology? What are you doing it for now, and where do you see it heading?
That's deep.
And
That's very deep.
so that's that. And then I'm also starting, like in March maybe, an online entity called The Pulse, and it's basically a place where you can come if you're doing anything up and coming, politics, music, fashion, art, and you can come and express yourself online.
Let's
with
run that
1 minute
back real quick
segments.
though. So you talking about that first project, the flag,
Future Flags. Yeah.
So how do you feel about that? You know what I'm saying? Can you give us a little taste of what you're going to talk about in that?
so
that was really interesting.
So, you know, when the start of gangbanging, it was for a cause, really, like back in California when they started the Crips, like it was for a cause.
Black Panthers and things
exactly,
like that. Yeah.
you know, like, and it kind of broke down, but it keeps breaking down. So, like, it went from Black Panther, which had like the most solid meaning.
Yeah.
Then it was the Crips, who was kind of just like fighting for territory, or it was just like a branch off from, you know, like the Lords and shit like that, right? Then the Bloods came because the Crips were taking over, and the Bloods was like smaller gangs who just came together, like, you know, and then it kind of just became all about territory at one point. And then after territory split, like, you know, gentrification, all that shit. What is it now? Like, you know, like what is it now? there's still new people coming in. We're getting musicians. So like, how do you? I want to speak to somebody who's really in it, and I'll just be like, how do you feel about these new guys? Like it's
Chris Brown or some shit like
it's
that.
almost like it's almost like a piece of fashion now.
Right.
Know what I mean, like, and like before, if you were a Blood or a Crip,
wasn't a
you were
rapper.
somebody not to be taken lightly. You were somebody you don't want. Like, I wouldn't want my kid around you. Not me personally.
I mean,
But
it
like
was a
from
stigma.
the
It was a
society,
stigma
be
that
like,
came with it.
society,
Yeah.
you wouldn't want your kid around him, around where he lived. But now it's just like a piece of fashion. You know,
Oh,
like
you're a
people just
gangbanger?
wear that shit
What?
in
Gucci
music
gang.
and sports, even in films.
I
like, you
remember
know?
not even like too long ago. I was never into the gangs and stuff, but like you get beat up for having a flag out your pocket, and
for
that's
real.
not your set
Listen.
or whatever. But now people just
Full
walk around with
disclosure.
bandanas.
You can get
on their
away with
heads
a
and
lot
stuff,
of
like red
things
bandanas.
you couldn't have
Yeah.
gotten away with in the 90s,
Full
you know,
disclosure,
and even the early 2000s.
we from me and Anthony, we went to a suburb high school, and we seen somebody get beat up in a suburb high school for being a Crip. In the suburbs, like
Right.
Greenberg. I mean, I know
This
some
is like
people feel
2000,
it's-
what, 4 or
Yeah,
5?
you feel me? In the suburbs.
One
so,
thing I always say
yeah.
is it doesn't really matter where you're from.
yeah,
If you live in a suburb, urban area, or the city, no matter where you go, it's not where you live. It's like
it's your
it's
mindset.
here. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Heart is-
no matter where you go, somebody's gonna be brave. You know what I mean? So like, it doesn't really matter where you're from. If a gang reaches a certain area, you
Yeah.
can't say, "Oh, you're from." Like when we grew up in Greenberg, and people's like, "Ain't no gangbangers in Greenberg."
It's funny
How are you
because-
gonna tell?
Right.
Tell. Okay, so tell that to him then.
Right. No,
Right?
right.
So don't
Exactly,
tell that to
exactly.
us.
You
Tell
gotta
that
tell
to
me that
him.
shit.
No, because I
Exactly.
feel like, especially
That's
in the
real.
suburbs too, I feel like sometimes there's even more to prove because we're
That's-
kind of
I
known as being
agree.
soft. Like,
There's a
Tenfold,
lot more to
tenfold.
prove,
Right.
and then a lot of people are not shooting because they have to. A lot of people are shooting because they want to, like,
Exactly.
and they're scared, and yeah, it's just crazy. But yeah, 2018, like, where can you take that next? Like,
That's
Right.
interesting because you look at what he's saying. Because like, I never had that thought to like kind of put them two together. Because you look at the inceptions of gangs. Like you said, they were community watch. They were trying to make sure that people had food. They were making daycares and stuff like that. And now we're in a time period where it's so much easier to get those things that we couldn't, those resources. So it's like, all right, I mean, we're supposed if that's what it's for, what is it doing now? That's pretty deep though. You know what I'm saying?
you want to know
definitely gonna be on the
what's
lookout for that.
the
Oh, I'm looking
crazy?
to check that out.
The
Most
craziest thing
definitely.
about it is, I feel like the most questionable thing about it is there's a glorification we have with like the mafia and shit, right? That we don't get with Bloods and Crips, right?
true.
Like they glorify that
Yeah,
shit,
love it.
right? So and we know why, right? Like there's that undertone,
People don't really know why sometimes, but I feel you. You're right.
But what killed the mafia really is big business and technology. You can't go to Walmart and say, "Come to me." Like, I'm a cashier at Walmart. You can't say, "Yo, if you want me to protect Walmart, you got to give me $100 a week." I'm gonna be like, "Yo, go speak to my fucking manager." You know what I mean? Like, and then
Exactly.
like you can't. It's not little mom and pop shops no more, right? And the technology is so easy, DNA, but
Right.
that in no way stopped Bloods or Crips, and
true.
they separated that
You know
from
why don't you want
organized
to?
crime.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
They separated Bloods and Crips from organized crime. But if you were so quote unquote organized, like, why wasn't there a backup plan? You know what I mean? Or why couldn't you like keep up with the times and shit like that?
Facts.
And it's just like, I just want their take on it,
Most
and just to pick their brains on shit like that. So
I was gonna say like to add to your build. From what I was, because I did research on tons of shit just to read research. I be writing papers for myself, like you feel me? But like,
I write papers for fun on the weekends.
but but like you look at what America and people don't understand when during the times at Ellis Island when people were coming to that area in New York. I'm a second generation Caribbean person. My dad's family came to Ellis Island.
Right.
You feel me? The reason why. Or one of the reasons why I feel like gangs or whatever, Bloods and Crips haven't had a chance to like phase out or whatever, it's because America doesn't accept people. They don't accept the counterculture people who are quote unquote minorities. The first minorities were the Jewish people. The Italian people actually called niggas when they first came to America. I don't people know that. So Italians and all these people weren't white. They were actually called like niggas and whatever. So like
It's like the purest
they
form
had
of
to
white
like so
black
like
people came.
the first American dream wasn't coming and getting a job. It was coming to America, being a bootlegger, selling your whiskey and coming up or doing the mafia shit. Now because they have the complexion for protection, they were able to once they get that money, they can get right out of that, out of that game, and they can become, a corporate person. You could be Donald Trump because Donald Trump family actually was bootleggers verbatim. His dad was selling whiskey and actually selling pussy, dead ass, like on some real shit. But what happened? That's how he got rich. They selling pussy. They selling whiskey. Once you get famous because you white. Oh well, my money's clean because I said it's clean. Yeah, you feel me? When you brown, you don't have that ability.
It's like, well, where'd you get this from? Where's this money coming?
Don't get me wrong. What Sage is saying is correct. Like, I just think that's one aspect. Is like, yo, we have to like look at what, like, okay, there's a different mode of oppression nowadays. So the same thing we're doing in them times, like in LA with the gangs. That's not like we're doing something that's totally unconducive to us getting from point A to point B. Right. So I'm looking forward to that project, man. That's gonna be tough.
I'll definitely. Where can you find that? I'm
gonna do that on YouTube. Oh, so my YouTube page I just set up is called Sage Cinema 99, and that's where everything's gonna be: documentaries, films,
lit,
and shit like that.
Yeah, I don't want to miss out. It's some good product.
And you also do like monthly wrap ups, like you be doing things like that as well, or
so that I'm bringing over with me to the Pulse. We'll be doing like weekly roundups, like what happened during the week in pop culture. But I also want to get like into politics. So I'm looking for a handful of hosts right now, actually, and we're gonna be doing sports, politics, pop culture, art. Just a handful of whatever has a pulse, like whatever people love. I just want you to be able to come on Instagram. We're not going to send you to a link. It's all going to be fast segments and just catch up briefly. It's something cool, and it's
that's definitely with it.
Yeah, like we're promoting parties and shit like that.
You said you were looking for like a host.
Yeah, like just different hosts in general, people who are comfortable in camera.
Would you look at us?
Yeah, got a room for it.
That's what I guess. That's what I was gonna ask. Like,
so that's the thing. Like with the pulses, we're gonna be very interactive. So I have a template of what I'm gonna start out with, and literally anybody can come to me and be like, "Hey, you should do this," and I'm like, "Yeah, I should," and you should host it. Like, it's your idea, and you can definitely host it under my name. And then
what's so funny? That actually segues into what I was gonna ask. What do you feel about like kind of putting people on or being like, all right, so you kind of have a brand established. Like, even if you don't you have something established for yourself as far as film and production and things. How do you feel about for lack of a better term, like putting people on? Like, how do you, or what would you say? What advice would you give for somebody that's trying to be able to come up and trying to maybe step out of their job or step out and follow their passion? What would you kind of tell them?
So if I was to give any piece of advice, it would be don't be stupid about your decisions. Wow. So I quit my job, but I made sure I could pay rent, for like a year. Also, don't be lazy. It's like if you're an artist and you can count the days where you haven't really pushed yourself. Like sometimes I'll be like, yo, you really haven't really been doing what you really could have been doing for like 3 days now. You've kind of just been like playing video games. That's ridiculous.
That's a fact.
There's always room for learning, especially with the tools we have. So if I'm not going outside, I'm spending at least 2 hours doing research on filmmaking.
Let me ask you a question, because most of us are entrepreneurs, but as a fellow entrepreneur, I find like I have like a little hater in the back of my head.
A little what?
A little hater.
Oh, hater.
Like saying like, you can't do that shit, my nigga. Fuck out of here. That's
so
dumb. Like,
say that,
you know what I'm saying? How do you beat that little hater? Like, do you have any take on that?
You just gotta do that. You just gotta do that shit. If you have an idea, do it. Like, set a date. That's the major thing a lot of people don't do. So my hater was you think you're gonna like look how much people are like musicians, how much people want to do music. That's crazy. Right. So my thing is how much people want to do fucking film. Like everybody wants to be a director, right? And the way I got past that was, okay, everybody wants to 100 people want to be a director, right? But so the last film I did is called Maybe Tonight. It's an 8-minute film. Maybe like a 6-person cast. I casted. I wrote the film, right? I sat down and wrote the film. I wrote the script. That knocked out 10 people right there. Right. No, like who has time to sit down and write, right?
Exactly.
So that knocked that out. Then I casted. Like I got through the casting. I got everybody together on the same page, like your cast and crew on the same page, like 20 people on the same date. We agreed to these dates. You just knocked out 15 more people. who has the patience to sit there and email different people like, yo, can you do this date? Can you do this date? Right? Then the day comes, like you have your equipment, your cameraman, your ADs, your PAs, sound guy, right? And then you shoot. Like you have a good day, 3 days of shooting. 8-minute film, we did 2 days, probably 10-hour days each day, right? For an 8-minute film with the budget. So because I don't pay actors, because I'm just starting off, I take care of transportation and I take care of lunch. So don't worry about how you're getting here. Don't worry about food. That's a fact, right? So we shoot, we done, right? You just knocked out like 30 more people. Because a lot of people are not going to have as much patience as determination as you. Then you got to edit it. Like you got to pay an editor or learn how to edit yourself, which was what I did. You just knocked out everybody else, right?
Exactly.
There's
nobody else who's gonna. Well, there are people like that, but you got to think to yourself, like the people who you're pitting yourself against, like saying you can't do it. They, like Jay-Z said, you can't do it. Know what I mean? But I'm gonna do this shit. Like, so I always say, like, set a date. That's the number one part right there. Like, just set a date.
Everything into it.
And once you set a date, like everything else just starts
put
rolling.
one foot in
Like,
front of the other.
yeah. That's the first thing. Like you have the idea. Everybody has an idea, but once you set a date, like everything just rolls after that. Like
that's real right there.
I love it. It's funny because you reference. I'm actually reading this book right now called The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield, and it's funny the part that I'm like, it's so funny because what is about resistance, and it's kind of that little hater in the back of your head, and it's like the thing you resist most is probably exactly what the fuck you're supposed to be doing, and he mentions that in the sense of you kind of just doing it. Like he said, if you wait for everything to be perfect, you're never gonna go. You're never gonna start. It's funny you say that because
Just do it.
Even like with this podcast, me and Kamal sitting down talking. We was like, yo, we need a date. We've been talking about this shit for months. He was like, we need January 6th. Boom, we're doing it. Like
I think it's a lot of comfort zone.
We have to do a date.
Comfort zone.
It's a lot of comfort zone. People create a comfort zone. Me, myself, like Sage was talking earlier about like the things he knows. Like if he's sitting in the crib playing video games for three hours or 3 days, it's just like, yo, you have to change that. Like you be like, all right, get up and do it. Literally, it's so crazy. It only resonates when you understand. But I'm doing a little entrepreneur and stuff too. So it's just like you do have to get up and do it. Set dates. And then you fit everything in between there. Like, you have to get it done.
And that's one thing I can say I love. Because even doing something for this first show, like, I also quit my job. I quit my job. It's funny. I quit it in August. Jesus.
That was for me. I did that.
Anthony, no, it wasn't. But he was one of, I'm not going to lie, he was one of the main ones like, yo, you hate your job. You hate going in. And it's funny. My kind of breakdown moment, bro, I was in the parking lot. And my attitude was on, like, it was ridiculous. I'm like, yo, I didn't even walk in this fucking building yet, and I'm fed up. I'm fed the fuck up. Like,
that's how
I'm making this nigga money. Because I was working at a law firm. Like, I'm making this nigga money. I'm basically running this shit myself. Like, I was the secretary, but I'm like, yo, I know what I'm doing. Not only that, I kind of got frustrated because, okay, yeah, not knocking anyone that didn't go to school, but I did go to school. Like, I bought this degree. Mm-hmm. I'm not using it at all. And I'm like, I don't even like what I do. So I'm like, at least even putting like the show together, I was up till like 3 o'clock the other morning just typing shit out, looking up current events and shit. And it was like, I wasn't tired. I liked doing what I was doing because I'm like, it benefits me. This is for me. I don't.
Nobody gets like you do.
Right.
I think what it is for a lot of us, for 9 to 10 people, you know, especially if you know you're growing up in a middle class family, you know, your parents probably, you know, if you're not, you know, super impoverished, your parents gonna be like, yo, go to school. Because your parents, you know, they don't know nothing except telling you go to school.
Right.
You feel me? And especially if you're a black person or a person of melanated descent, you don't really like. Not to talk down on us, but like I'm like, all right, you know, I'll speak for myself. I'm from a middle class family. My family did pretty well. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, as like my dad, you know,
like most
all right,
of us.
but like they don't know how to invest no money. They don't know how to have a career. He just knows how to go to work and work overtime and and buy a house. You feel me? They don't know how to be happy for real. So what you end up doing a lot of times nowadays is you end up just working. Like, you can't fulfill yourself doing that for somebody else.
I know, Anthony, you said it too. Like, Anthony will talk about his dad, and I'll talk about my mom. Like, especially, I mean, we're also, like, you're Caribbean as well. Like, I have a Jamaican ass. I think about things like that. Like, how the fuck did mommy go to work
for
come
30
home,
years?
That's why they
teach
crazy.
me how to read, write, got up in the morning, made breakfast, made sure I was at school on time. Like, I'm like, yo, parents, it's a different type of work ethic, and it is kind of crazy. But shout out to good parents.
And that's also in a different time period when my dad's dad, like my grandfather got like a gold watch for working for his job. You feel me? Nowadays you get nothing. You get 60 years old. Your job closed down. You get no 401k. You asked out, and you die in the hospice with your family watching you because they're poor too.
You know what's
you feel me?
cool about what you were saying about the whole generation thing?
Yeah.
I feel like every generation that passes, we kind of like take something back. So the generation before us, what they took back was their pride. So they were so used to seeing like their moms and dads getting beat up because they were colored or whatever, and they was looking at that like that's not gonna be me, right? So I feel like what we watched was our moms and dads going to work and coming home and every day just not happy, whether it be like at work or relationships, and we're just like, that's not gonna be me. And then this generation is all about like taking back your happiness. Know what I mean? Like, so before it was pride, we have that now. So granted, there's still racism and all that, but for the most part, it's not a level playing field, but it's a playing field, right? Like we can get that job now. We're making strides. But now it's just now we want that happiness. Now I want to love what I do. Like, so
because now it's like, all right, I can be a lawyer, but if I'm a lawyer in this firm, I gotta cut my locks off.
Yeah,
like,
fuck
that. You feel me? Like, you know what I'm saying? So
Word.
100.
With all that being said, we are coming to a little close. You know,
Look at the time.
we're gonna be finishing up soon. We got a little, not off topic, I would say, but, you know, we fit a lot of things.
No, I like the way it flowed.
We have, like, one last question for Sage because, you know, he's working hard, and I think he has some good advice. So how would you, or what would you suggest to people, like, to stay motivated? How do you stay motivated?
Well,
and what is your advice to others?
Little sidebar question as well that you can kind of wrap in. Like, who do you hustle for? This is the hustle show. Like, what's your motivation, or, like, what's your hustle? Who do you hustle for? Or, like, is it yourself? Is it your family?
So I'm all about protecting your self-peace. So, like, just do what's best for you. As long as nobody's getting hurt. Like, as long as you're not hurting anybody physically, financially, you're not being evil, right? So just do what makes you happy. And as far as motivation,
do what thou wilt.
Same thing. Like, it's your happiness. Like, something has to push you.
I think
you know
peace.
Like,
I think you saying peace kind of like covers everything. Like if you have kids, if you have like a parent or somebody,
like you don't want to.
I feel the same way.
It's all about your peace. Like, wherever you feel comfortable, that's where you need to be heading, you know, like, and just be careful of like just who you're pushing aside, like to get there. But if you need to push somebody, by all means, push somebody. It's not against the law, but you know, get there. You know.
With that being said, why don't you let the people know one more time where they can find your content?
Instagram, Sage the Racer, and my YouTube page is Sage Cinema 99.
Get that Sage Cinema 99.
Follow him.
Right.
Don't miss out.
Let's do a couple shameless plugs. My Instagram is SugarSoFly, SugarSoFly. That is on Instagram. Same thing on Twitter, except SugarSoFly. Whatever. Look up SugarSoFly. You'll find me. Anthony?
Mine? Hold on, I changed mine. Sorry, guys.
I hate you. Come on.
You can find me on Instagram at Kamal the Great. That's KAMAAL the Great. And also on IG, my barber page, Molly Cuts. That's MAALYKUTZ. Also, you can find me on Twitter. And
just give him your social. Go ahead and give him your social.
You know what I'm saying? Word. On Twitter is also Kamal the Great as well. So no, I'm sorry, I lied. It's Godson.
Yes.
So
S-U-N.
find me on Twitter as GODSUN_. All right.
Yes. Anthony, where you at?
My list is not even that long at all. Instagram is like where you can find me. JustAnt_.
And for the page, this is 1992. So literally Instagram, Facebook, SoundCloud. It's 199TILL. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks y'all for tuning in.
Shout out again to Brian.
Look out on our social media pages for a few topics. Again, yes, shout out Arts and Rhymes. Like, that's where you can find us. You can find this podcast here. Arts and Rhymes. There's an app. Arts and Rhymes. There's an app for it. I believe they're on SoundCloud, all social media as well. Facebook, Instagram. Everything's spelled correctly. SANDRHYMES. Did I spell that right?
Yeah.
And yeah, that's where we at. Thank you guys.
Episode 1 is in the books, y'all. How y'all feel?
Look out for the rest of them.
All right.
We out.
Peace.